The name Sniperwolf probably rings a bell. Whether you're among her staggeringly large following of 34 million subscribers, or just someone unfortunate enough to see her pop up on the trending page, it's almost impossible to spend time on the site without seeing her. Her career spans over a decade in multiple different genres of content, in which she relies on her very captivating personality to attain a viewership. But let's be frank, her success is not the reason you clicked on this video, nor why you even know about her. She's recently become embroiled in a situation with Jax Films in which she's been accused of doxing him. Due to how extreme this drama got, she ended up announcing that she would be taking a break from content altogether. What you may not realize is that for Leah's career, she's been turning entire communities against her from the very start. So today we're going to shovel through all of it to discover the story of SSSniperwolf, the worst reactor on YouTube. If you take a brief look at the SSSniperwolf channel, you'd see it was created on the 20th of January 2013. Given that, you may think that's where her YouTube story begins. And you would be wrong. In early 2011, Leah made a channel by the name of Sexy Sniper. While the original channel is completely wiped from the internet, and even wiped from the internet archive for the most part, through re-uploads we can examine what she was all about. This channel was mostly focused on vlog-style content, with some COD gameplay videos thrown in for good measure. Much of the appeal of these videos came down to her looks, which she was rather good at showing off, often wearing skimpy outfits that really complemented her figure. The content itself was certainly raunchier than what you may have come to expect from Sniperwolf, given how sanitized her modern stuff is. For the time, her content was honestly not that unique. There were a lot of gamer girls from around this time posting stuff to appeal to gamer men and playing into their notions of a perfect sweetie, wearing revealing clothing, making raunchy jokes about sex and other taboo topics. It was a common archetype at the time. Given all of this, it should come as no surprise that she found moderate success, getting about 45,000 subscribers by February 2013, which was pretty significant back then. However, Leah would not stick with this channel for much longer, with the channel we all know, Sniperwolf, being created in January of 2013. But eventually, she made a full transition from Sexy Sniper, deleting the channel entirely and going as far as to hide any traces of its existence. Today, you can't even find the full channel via Wayback Machine unless you're looking for specific videos from the channel. And at the same time as she was transitioning her online career, Leah had several developments in her personal life. In the early 2010s, Leah had met a man named Evan Young, known more famously today as Sausage. They met on a Metal Gear Online forum where they were quick to strike up a conversation. Although much of their early interactions are lost to history, we know they had stopped talking at some point between 2010 and 2012. But in 2012, they resumed talking, and in 2013, they met up at an anime convention through mutual friends. Soon enough, they struck up a long-standing relationship which would last for over 9 years. That same year, Leah made a new YouTube channel, SSSniperwolf. The Sniperwolf channel would be a distinct departure from what she was doing before. Instead of mostly focusing on her appearance, this new channel used that to her advantage while also combining it with actual gaming content. Early Sniperwolf videos were focused almost entirely on COD gameplay videos, where she would demonstrate a high degree of skill in that game. This made her somewhat unique at the time, as skilled girl gamers with large followings were not really as prevalent back in the day, and the lack of competition, along with a sizable boost from her Sexy Sniper channel, allowed her to get a good head start. But that's not to say she didn't have any rivals. Allow me to introduce you to Rhea. If you look at her channel today, you wouldn't really think of her as a gamer, but roll back to the year 2013 and what you'd find is Girl Gone Gamer, a channel with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, 20 million plus channel views, and a dedicated following. Though her content was not focused entirely on gaming by 2013, with much of it being composed of vlogs, her gaming videos would still regularly get upwards of 100,000 views. In said videos, she also demonstrated quite a high level of proficiency at the game, although at this point she usually used these gameplay videos as vehicles to talk about different topics. But before I go any further, a word from today's sponsor. Have you ever Googled yourself and were shocked to see your personal information exposed on one of those public listing sites? Yeah bro, I'm basically untraceable.
No you're not. I just found your name, email, phone number, address, and some embarrassing photos from that anime convention.
Bro, I was 14 years old. Leave me alone. But I should probably get rid of that data. Well, thankfully you can with today's sponsor, Aura. Data brokers are making a fortune selling your information to robocallers, spammers, and others who want to learn about you, like where you live. Aura can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Data brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but it can be confusing to figure out how. Aura can handle it all. It also has so much more. It's an all-in-one app with parental controls, antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. If you're tired of picking up the phone to robo-scammers to the point that you don't even want to answer, then Aura is for you. You can either let people continue to exploit and profit off of your private information, or you can go to aura.com/turkeytom to start your 14-day free trial. Also link below in the description. Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Girl Gone Gamer and SSSniperwolf were very much vying for the same audience, and given that Girl Gone Gamer had been around for longer at that point, with a far larger following, she had an undeniable advantage. But that's not to say SSniperwolf was out of her depth. On August 10th, 2013, Leah made a now unlisted expose on Girl Gone Gamer. In it, she spoke about some of the history she had with her, how her fans really wanted them to have a 1v1, and how Girl Gone Gamer refused, going as far as to block SSniperwolf on other social media. SSniperwolf then questioned Girl Gone Gamer's COD gaming skills, and even went as far as to accuse her of faking her gameplay.
Since she had less than 100k, so it's definitely not about exposure, at least it wasn't before, and if she didn't want to, she could just decline, that's fine, and I would prefer a reason, but why block? It gives me and a lot of my subscribers the impression that she doesn't actually get her gameplays.
Her accusation comes down to a few key points. According to Leah, Girl Gone Gamer had blocked her after she asked to do a 1v1 video where they faced each other. She also accuses her of deleting comments relevant to the situation, leading her to believe that the gameplay was faked. Throughout the video, she never really provides any actual proof of these claims, nor does she give any evidence later. However, she speaks quite confidently throughout her video, which, it seems, was enough to sway viewers to her side, despite the somewhat intimidating like-to-dislike ratio. Adding to this is the fact that Girl Gone Gamer never made a public response to the accusation, and as a result, public opinion was definitely on SSniperwolf's side. While this drama was rather contained, there were still dozens of YouTubers who would release videos where they shared their opinions on the situation, most of whom sided with SSniperwolf. This exposed video was pretty beneficial for her channel. Prior to it releasing on August 10th, 2013, she had accumulated around 48,000 subs. 10 days later, she had grown to 70,000, and 2 weeks after that, she had 100,000. This can largely be attributed to a lot of new subscribers coming from the Girl Gone Gamer channel, who wanted to watch SSniperwolf, who is now the real gamer. The girl behind the channel, Rhea Carmona, has since completely divorced herself from gaming, memory holing her channel's past so much that you won't find a single one of her hundreds of videos from that period. The channel today only contains 10 videos, most of which seem like redirects to her other content, including her podcast and her OnlyFans. Given this, we'll likely never find out if there's any truth to the accusations. This was not the first controversy she had gotten into, however. Meet Enigma Hood. He's a small content creator, producing a very eclectic selection of videos. Everything from discussing the so-called 4th generation of nuclear weapons to a guide on how to clean your ear. He's been making videos regularly to this day, usually talking about hot-button contemporary topics. Back at the tail end of 2012, when SSniperwolf was still just Sexy Sniper, he made a critique of her video titled Facebook Creepers Vlog Rant, in which Leah complained about the attention she'd been getting from strangers on Facebook. Enigma Hood argued she wasn't in a position to complain about people's creepy behavior if she led them on, which she admitted to in the video. He also gave her a general critique of her content, arguing that the most valuable thing about her videos were that her cleavage was revealed, obviously in a very tongue-in-cheek way. The video wasn't exactly a masterclass of argumentation, and it was pretty poorly received from the get-go, but I think we can all agree that it was within fair use, with Enigma Hood only using a conservative selection of clips and utilizing them to make his arguments. SSniperwolf didn't seem to agree, striking down the video a few months later. Enigma Hood was outraged, and he fought the DMCA takedown, which ended up being released shortly after. But the drama did not end there. Enigma Hood went on to make many more videos criticizing her, including a somewhat unhinged video calling SSniperwolf racist for liking a tweet. SSniperwolf struck this video as well, despite the fact that there was no actual copyrighted content in the video at all. For the next couple of years, Enigma Hood would continue to release dozens of videos on her in the interim, taking as many jabs at her as he could possibly muster. Just to go through a few examples, there's SSniperwolf attacks vegans and doesn't understand science, 9-year-old criticizes stupid prom project video, and perhaps most interestingly, SSniperwolf's husband is faking her gameplays.
SSSniperwolf is a phony. She is a fraud. She's been faking her gameplays. Now, this has been a rumor that's been going around for a long-ass time. That was gullible. I didn't realize just how much she lies, but she lies all the time.
This would actually be one of the first videos discussing the idea that SSniperwolf was faking her gameplays. While it's not exactly clear which source he's drawing from at this point in time, he did state that her husband, Sausage, was the one doing all the gameplays, while SSniperwolf only provided commentaries, saying they had a 50-50 split of the channel revenue. He mentioned there being a lot of proof, although he himself did not present any, and the only thing he went out of his way to prove was that SSniperwolf had dated people online to get into their Metal Gear Online clans. He also brought up her arrest record for armed robbery from 2013. In regards to the arrest record, that much is at least undeniable. On the 22nd of July 2013, Sniperwolf, or Leah Shalesh, was arrested on a charge of armed robbery in Maricopa County, Arizona. In a now unlisted video, Sniperwolf recounts her own version of the incident, in which she was unfairly railroaded for allegedly shoplifting. That's of course a far cry from what Enigma Hood had described, and it also leaves out the part where Sausage, real name Evan Young, was arrested alongside her. What had actually happened that day remains unclear, as Sniperwolf never went into detail about it herself, and as far as we know, the case never actually reached the trial stage. It's believed that the charges were dropped. As for Enigma Hood's other accusations, while there isn't much evidence on YouTube prior to this video, there's been some that came out following Enigma Hood's video on the topic. A YouTube channel that's kind of amusingly called Truth Revealed posted a video on the 19th of February 2015 simply titled, "Sniperwolf is fake, full proof." This video makes many claims that echo the prior accusations from Enigma, while showing some actual evidence. For example, he shares text messages between a girl named Aura and Remembrance1217, which is widely believed to be her boyfriend's original gaming account, where they more or less explicitly talk about how it's in fact him getting all the gameplays for her videos and not her. It also shows evidence that Sniperwolf and Sausage had likely been married at that point, including a video from Sausage released in 2014 titled "Moving In with Sniperwolf." The channel would go on to release another 2 videos on Leah, including a short video intended to prove she's faking her gameplays, and another longer video showing an interview on Drama Alert with Troll Munchies, in which Troll Munchies also alleges that Sniperwolf is faking her gameplays and that she's actually married to Sausage. The videos ended up accruing over 1 million views combined, being heavily dislike bombed by Sniperwolf fans. While many in the comments do seem impressed and even convinced by the arguments, there's no real evidence that this had any effect on her channel. For that reason, we'll stop talking about it for now. But trust me, this will definitely come up when you least expect it. While the Truth Revealed videos still likely swayed a fair number of people, mostly those who didn't really like Sniperwolf in the first place, Enigma Hood's content fell on deaf ears, and his videos on Sniperwolf had a universally terrible reception at launch, with not much in the way of views, and a huge proportion of dislikes and negative comments. That is, if the comments and dislikes were turned on at all, which is not the case for a lot of these videos. Sniperwolf, meanwhile, came out of it pretty much unscathed, as most of her audience wasn't even aware these videos existed. In fact, by January 2016, her channel had grown to an impressive 2 million subscribers, with a combined 500 million views on all of her videos. This drama with Enigma Hood would drag on until 2016, as he continued to release videos about her when Sniperwolf made a video called "My Biggest Hater." In it, she leveled heavy accusations against Enigma Hood, accusing him of being a registered sex offender. She also claims that she used the copyright system to take down his videos because he had re-uploaded her own content. Enigma was quick to respond, releasing a video in defense of his character. There, he called out Sniperwolf for sharing his personal information, while claiming he had never been arrested and that he's not on the registry to begin with. Later on, Sniperwolf herself would go on to say he was not on the registry anymore, but his name had been there when she'd originally looked him up 2 to 3 years prior to this. Now, it should be noted there is a chance Sniperwolf isn't lying. Maybe she really did see him listed on the registry. Given the severity of the situation, I'd rather not cast any judgment because I can't seem to find any record of this guy. I can't seem to find any charges. I can't seem to find any criminal history whatsoever. So I'm inclined to believe that Enigma Hood may be telling the truth, but at the same time, it seems so insane to me that Sniperwolf would just bold-faced lie about something that's so easy to fact-check right away. It's my belief that, for some reason or another, she probably did believe he was on the registry at some point. While there had been a few videos made in defense of Enigma Hood, they were by and large a blip on the radar. For the most part, people were siding with Sniperwolf, and there was no real measurable impact on her videos at all. In the end, Enigma Hood attempted to sue Sniperwolf for defamation. He even tried to sue Google and her network Fullscreen, as well as her boyfriend Evan Young. There are a lot of interesting aspects of this lawsuit, such as that no lawyer is listed, meaning that Enigma Hood wrote this all and filed it himself, and probably planned on representing himself in court. What's also curious is that this lawsuit is 5 pages long, which is the shortest lawsuit I've ever read. His main issue in this complaint is with being referred to as a registered sex offender. He blames YouTube themselves for not taking down the videos, as he reported them for harassment and bullying, and he also goes after Leah for filing DMCA takedowns on his content. It's bizarre to me that Sniperwolf would say what she said about him with such confidence, and it leads me to believe she actually does believe that he's some kind of offender, but I just literally can't find it anywhere. I have no idea where this comes from. When the lawsuit was actually filed, parties involved filed to dismiss it. meaning in order for the lawsuit to continue, Enigma Hood had to satisfy a 3-pronged effects test to contest the motion to dismiss based on the lack of personal jurisdiction. He was able to prove the first two, as in his eyes, Sniperwolf had intentionally defamed him, and he had been the most impacted in New Jersey, which is his state of residence. But he also had to prove that Sniperwolf had deliberately targeted his home state, which he was unable to. The lawsuit was dismissed in 2017 without prejudice, meaning he theoretically could try to sue again if he wanted to. So far, though, no further attempts have been made, although Enigma Hood did send a letter to the court discussing suing again because he believes that the judge he had on the case should have recused himself. And this is where things get even more interesting. This was due to an expose which showed that 131 federal judges broke the law by hearing cases where they may have had a financial interest. In Enigma's case, Judge Brian Martinotti handled 44 cases involving companies he had invested in, one of which being Enigma's case, as the judge owned stock in Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, which owns YouTube. Specifically, the judge owned between $15,000 and $50,000 of Alphabet stock. Enigma himself is quoted in the Wall Street Journal, funnily enough, saying, "I would like my case to be reopened, as Judge Brian R. Martinotti was unfairly biased and should have recused himself from my case." It's time for us to talk about Sniperwolf's boyfriend, or maybe husband, Evan Young, better known online as Sausage. Evan boasts a YouTube channel of 466,000 subscribers, of which we can assume most are due to Sniperwolf, as all of the most popular videos on his channel are collabs with her. His content is a mix of vlogs, gameplay videos, as well as videos documenting his weight loss journey. Due to his incredibly inconsistent upload schedule, he may sometimes take months, if not years, to actually release a video. Because of that, his YouTube channel has been inactive since 2019, and his Twitter since late 2018. Throughout the years, he's always played a background role to Sniperwolf, never even approaching her level of popularity. Often, Sniperwolf would mention in her videos how Sausage had been helping her with video production, but she never went into much detail on the topic. There were many allegations about his real role, as we've discussed previously, and while some of it certainly seemed credible, there was nothing that would lead Sniperwolf to actually admit any of it on camera. The inner workings of the Sniperwolf operation were mostly kept secret. On the 25th of May 2016, Sniperwolf released a video simply titled "We Broke Up," in which she confirmed rumors that she and Sausage had broken up, which began circulating after supposed arguments on social media. She remarked that she herself wasn't quite sure what was happening, and that at the time of recording, Sausage was away in Vegas, forcing her to spend her time alone. The video, for the most part, focuses on her own mental state, how she was handling the breakup, as well as expressing hope they would simply get back together. The video garnered a lot of attention, getting over 2 million views in just a week, with an outpouring of support from her fan base. And besides anyone who may have thought they'd actually been married the whole time, nobody really seemed to be questioning this breakup. However, things would quickly get more complicated when she would release a video titled "We Got Back Together" on the 9th of June, only 2 weeks later. The video showed Sniperwolf traveling to meet Sausage in Vegas, with the rest of it more or less becoming a vlog documenting what they had done throughout the day, including a limo drive and a fancy dinner. This video was met with mixed responses, as people in the comments began accusing Sniperwolf of creating fake drama for attention. While it's not quite clear just how many of these comments were levying this accusation, the video would get 10,000 dislikes, and it seemed the backlash was bad enough to where Sniperwolf felt she needed to actually respond to it in the comment section. How we got back together. Worked on this vlog a lot. Let me know if you enjoyed and want more vlogs like this. Edit. Don't believe everything you read without thinking. People are saying that we break up and get back together a lot like a high school relationship, which isn't true at all. We've been together for over 3 years and are very happy. We've had some problems, but we work through them, and we don't share those problems and go into detail, so it's not right to judge either of us for what you think you know. Don't believe other people commenting saying he abuses me or vice versa. We always break up and get back together, and it happens a lot. Not true at all. This was all fake for drama and attention, etc., as none of it is true, and it's just people commenting shit they pulled out of their smiley face. Here's where things start to get interesting. This is Colts. Looking at his channel today, all you're gonna get is like SoundCloud rap and some redirects to his other social media, with no hint of there ever being any other content on this channel. However, once upon a time, this channel was called Herotic. Herotic was a fairly small commentary channel, being quite similar in style to other people like Elvis the Alien or I'm Alex, who were around during that time, with the main exception being that he used a camera instead of CSGO Surf gameplay. While small, he got commendable views on his videos, and for all intents and purposes, it was clear that YouTube was a viable career path for him at that time. In early June 2016, shortly after Sniperwolf had put out her "We Got Back Together" video, Herotic released a video called "Sniperwolf the Manipulator," in which he revealed a deed to Sniperwolf's house, which explicitly stated that Sausage and Sniperwolf were in fact married, as well as providing a critique of Sniperwolf's content and her supposed stirring of drama. According to later comments, the video had done quite well, getting 100,000 views over the course of its lifetime, which was higher than Herotic's usual view count. The overall reception was warm. The video had been discussed in a news report by Scarce. In it, Scarce showed a screenshot from the video of the legal deed mentioned earlier, which allegedly stated that Evan and Leah are legally husband and wife. But I'm being deliberate with my wording here because the section of the video in which Scarce discussed the Sniper Wolf drama has been entirely cut out, and the only sign it was ever there is his pinned comment under the video, in which he states that the Sniper Wolf section starts 15 seconds in. Luckily, Wayback Machine is our friend, and when you search that video on this website, you'll find the original in its untampered form. The following day, Scarce put out a video where he talked about why he had removed the clip in the first place. He revealed that Sniper Wolf had actually messaged him on Twitter and effectively threatened to sue him, even mentioning she contacted his network Fullscreen.
Messaging me privately, and she ended up saying a bunch of stuff like how, she was threatening to, I guess, like take legal action and stuff like that. And to be honest with you guys, I was fucking scared. I was just like, fuck it, I'll just take down the video or cut the part out or whatever. She also was threatening to contact Fullscreen, which is my network.
In regards to Sniper Wolf's public response, she made a statement on Twitter saying she's not even married and that the realtor had simply made a mistake when writing them down as husband and wife. She did confirm that the deed was real, although the tweet responses seemed to be largely positive, basically accusing Herotic of being a liar. Herotic himself would go on to make a video in response to Sniper Wolf. In it, he expressed annoyance at Sniper Wolf's petty ways of avoiding this drama. He also addressed her Twitter response, arguing that the point she's making is tantamount to impossible, given the importance of a couple's status on a real estate deed. He also alluded to having seen Sniper Wolf and Sausage's marriage certificate, although he flaked on actually showing any sort of proof to that effect, eventually concluding that he would rather leave the drama be. For a while, it seemed this would be the end of it. Herotic had expressed he wouldn't address it anymore and that he'd been willing to let go of it, and for the most part, it didn't seem to be impacting Sniper Wolf's content much, at least not to any substantial degree. But then, around 2 weeks later, she decided to strike the video, claiming the reason behind it was the photo Herotic had used as the thumbnail. Herotic quickly responded, where he attacked her for her actions. He spends a lot of the video's runtime discussing what had happened and going over the contents of the video that had been taken down, while continuing to make the argument that Sniper Wolf had in fact been married to Sausage. He also showed clips from other Scarce videos, one of which included a DM from Sniper Wolf in which she told Scarce that the video had been taken down, and on top of that, Leah claimed that the video itself was putting her life in danger, which Herotic dismissed wholesale. In the end, this saga didn't really have that much effect on her. She herself never made a video addressing it, and YouTubers like Scarce were unwilling to strongly speak out against her. Honestly, probably partially due to the fact that at the time, this was an unfair invasion into her privacy, Nobody really needed to know whether she was married or not. And thankfully, she had enough support that she didn't really suffer any lasting damage from it. Again, the most ardent people opposing her were small YouTubers, such as the eponymous Truth Revealed. However, if for nothing else, her abuse of copyright was now shown to a larger audience. As for her drama with Sausage, the supposed marriage was never really brought back up on her channel. And for the next few months, they would allegedly break up and get back together multiple times. This coincided with both of them getting arrested on the 12th of August 2016 for disorderly conduct after having an alleged screaming match in their apartment. While these videos had a larger number of dislikes than usual, they were all very successful, meaning if the drama with Sausage was just a way to gain views, it worked. However, whatever issues they may have had seemed to die down towards the tail end of 2016, and she would no longer discuss their relationship in such a manner. As for Herotic, he would continue uploading commentary-style content for the next few years, until around 2021 when he rebranded his channel to making music or whatever. On February 10th, 2017, when the game Overwatch was reaching the height of its popularity and entered its third season, Sniper Wolf made a video titled Overwatch: The Journey to 500, in which she claimed to have reached the top 500 Overwatch players list, giving the viewers a basic guideline she claimed to have followed and gameplay footage to demonstrate how she got there. Now, you've already watched this far into the video, so I'm sure you're counting yourself among the many people who found this record a tad dubious. You wouldn't be the only one, as people online back in 2017 were quick to cast doubt on this supposed achievement. Enter SylvieBot. In 2017, she was a commentary YouTuber with a couple of videos under her belt and a generally favorable view among the community, thanks to her likable personality and above standard effort put into each video. On February 11th, only a day after Sniper Wolf had released her video, SylvieBot posted a response to it. In this near half-hour long video, she made the claim that Sniper Wolf had been boosted to her position with the help of her friends, who were top 500. And more importantly, Sausage, who was also in the top 500 at the time. She showed how Sniper Wolf would only ever play the character Lucio when she was around these much better players, which is primarily a support character, and she made the argument that playing support was the easiest way for her profile to be boosted to such a level. The video ended up becoming the most popular on her channel at the time, only later being beaten by her video on Daddy05, accruing over 1.5 million views in its lifetime, and though it was controversial, it maintained a healthy like to dislike ratio. And given the rumors about SSniperwolf faking her gameplay with the help of her partner, Sausage, people who already dislike SSniperwolf were clearly willing to believe it. And honestly, the video itself is pretty convincing. As for SSniperwolf herself, the SSSniperwolf response ended up having quite a bit of impact on the original video, which had his dislikes turned off altogether, implying it had been review bombed in the aftermath. She also left a comment on it and pinned it, saying that a certain YouTuber had maliciously tried to deceive her fans and took things out of context, and she went out of her way to emphasize that she had in fact achieved the milestone all by herself. On the 24th of February, SSniperwolf would then release a response video to that comment, where she defended herself in great detail, deflecting the personal attacks and mostly focusing on correcting the misconceptions that SSniperwolf had pushed. SSniperwolf provided even more evidence to support the claim that SSniperwolf had been boosted, focusing on streams made by Nex, which she had brought up as a point of evidence in the prior video. She highlighted how all of these streams were now deleted and how there was no way to prove her claims had been out of context, and she provided an overview of SSniperwolf's stats directly after her original Journey to 500 video. Outside of YouTube, there was moderate buzz generated on Twitter with a couple hundred tweets referencing the SSniperwolf video. There were also threads popping up on GameFAQs questioning SSniperwolf's top 500 record, which also ended up using the SSniperwolf video as proof. But once again, in the end, there didn't seem to be any fundamental impact on SSniperwolf's channel or reputation, at least with her following. Her videos were not impacted at all, getting a regular amount of views and dislikes compared to the rest of her content at the time, with only a slight bump on this video. She never made a response to SSniperwolf, and she pretty much went quiet about her Overwatch record until December 2017, when she released a video titled Overwatch I'm Top 500, which is largely composed of clips of her playing the game with Facecam. The video did get 8,000 dislikes, but it also got 2 million views, and the top comments were largely positive. Whether that's due to SSniperwolf curating her comments is something we can't be sure of at this point. The SSniperwolf drama was not the only thing to happen to Leah in 2017, however. On the 25th of July, a much more major drama began brewing when a clip surfaced of her making disparaging remarks toward a fellow YouTuber, Alyssa Violet. You may remember Alyssa as being Jake Paul's ex-girlfriend who subsequently dissed him in a track with his brother, Logan. She then went on to date FaZe Banks for a few years. Well, in this clip, SSniperwolf shared her perspective that Alyssa was getting her channel boosted with the help of her boyfriend, while also claiming that she had slept with multiple people in order to pay for her apartment.
Just everybody to get a free room.
Oh my god.
This is why I hate girls. Everyone a hoe.
While the comments seem to be in passing from SSniperwolf's perspective, you never know who's going to hear what you have to say, especially when you say it on a channel with millions of subscribers. For this next part, we ought to give you a brief introduction to Banks, Alyssa's boyfriend. You've likely already heard of him given he's one of the most popular members of FaZe Clan, and at one point he was running one of the biggest channels in the gaming scene. What you may have forgotten by now is that he himself was embroiled in his own personal drama. In mid-2017, Banks was accused of physically assaulting a woman, after which he released a 33-minute video giving an irate defense of his character, during which he exonerated himself in the public eye. Banks' immediate response to finding out about the SSniperwolf video was complete anger. He addressed these comments in a series of tweets, most of which he spent ranting about SSniperwolf and attacking her character. That's not to say all of the tweets were just fury-induced drivel, as a few contained some rather interesting info, including a screenshot of a conversation with SSniperwolf back from 2015, where she's seemingly begging to enter FaZe Clan. He also tags another YouTuber, Face Censor, asking him to tell everyone how many times SSniperwolf begged for his D. And as you can imagine, things really started heating up when people took notice of this tweet and the accusation he was making. Now, if I was SSniperwolf, I wouldn't have even responded to this. But SSniperwolf herself decided to respond to these tweets, defending herself by saying she would never have even entertained being with anyone from FaZe Clan. She went on to say she had never flirted or slept with any guy to get ahead in life, and that she had gotten to where she was due to her hard work exclusively. Later on, she would also post a twitlonger where she further spoke on the work that she had put in. This was only the beginning of the drama, as FaZe Censor decided to get involved, releasing a video detailing his relationship with SSniperwolf. In it, he showed a series of disparaging comments that Sniperwolf had made against Face Censor's girlfriend, Yanette Garcia. More pertinently, he shared his interactions with her back in 2015 around the release of a Would You Rather collab video released on the 31st of May. The one he highlighted the most was a text message sent by Sniperwolf saying she's in an abusive relationship, as well as another message where she calls Face Censor cute. Strangely, this does coincide with a story from back in 2015, according to which Sniperwolf's boyfriend/husband Sausage was arrested for domestic violence. There's very little known about this story, although a few days prior, Sniperwolf did mention that her and Sausage had broken up. There's very little we found regarding this case, and given the sensitivity of the situation, we'd rather not pass judgment for now, as we really have no idea what went down. Regardless, Censor's video ended up being a great success, netting him a tidy 5.3 million views over the course of its lifetime. However, more than just being a paycheck, the video ended up having a knock-on effect on Sniperwolf, who had never really engaged in drama of this magnitude ever before. YouTube was aflame with reactions, with videos on Drama Alert and Scarce getting millions of views. Notably, the Scarce interview with Censor also claimed that Sniperwolf was considering suing Censor and casting doubt on the veracity of the text messages he had shared.
He is in the right in the situation. He actually did show real text showing that she was flirting with him, and she's trying to play it off like that didn't happen. And keep in mind, she had a boyfriend at the time while she was flirting with him and talking to him about having an abusive relationship. So this whole situation is kind of sketchy for Sniperwolf's perspective.
The interview by itself was quite interesting, as Censor used it to explain his perspective on the situation between her and Sausage, arguing their relationship was possibly abusive, though not providing any proof beyond the text messages he had previously shown. Eventually, Censor would release a part 2 to his original video. In it, he mainly focused on addressing Sniperwolf's accusation of faking the screenshots by taking his computer to a Verizon store and retrieving the message logs in real time. About a month later, on the 28th of August, Censor would release another video titled "Sniperwolf is threatening to sue me, my response," showing a text conversation between him and Sausage, in which Sausage warns him that Sniperwolf is considering a lawsuit against Censor. Sausage seems to be trying to scare him into simply backing down, using the threat of the lawsuit to do so. In the end, however, nothing came of that threat, and Sniperwolf just didn't address it again. She's out, she's done. But the aftermath of this drama was not immediately clear on the surface. Looking at her channel, you would see that her videos were doing just fine, with her daily upload schedule remaining pretty much unchanged. She never made a video discussing it either, trying to pay as little attention to it as possible. However, the drama did have an effect in that it galvanized the people who had already been opposed to her, creating a much more obvious opposition, something that'll be on display in our next chapter. By 2018, Sniperwolf had slowly stopped releasing gaming content altogether, though whether this is due to the drama it had generated for her is unclear. Instead, she made a full transition to reaction videos, at a time when people had become less hateful towards reactors, and while her presence within the gaming community had all but diminished. Thankfully, her popularity was not diminished. Back when she had only just introduced the style of content in 2017, the videos regularly got more viewership than her other videos, netting her up to and sometimes exceeding 1 million views per upload. Just to give you a comparison of how much of a difference this switch made, here's her Social Blade before the transition, when she's getting around 22 million views per month. Now, here are her stats after the transition, with her getting 150 million views per month. This also resulted in 4 million new subscribers for her channel. It would be a horrid understatement to just call her successful at this point. She was one of the most successful YouTubers at the time, gaining 1.2 billion views within the year-long time frame I previously showed, and this meteoric rise was showing no signs of stopping. However, that success came at a cost. By 2018, her name had become notorious in the community, whereas in the years prior, she could count on the creators who made videos about her being relatively small, with no real way of causing any damage. Her feud with FaZe Clan had put into focus her obscene behavior and her litigious practices. This had earned the ire of not just the respective fan bases of these large creators, but also the online community at large, which now viewed her with the same hatred as some of the most controversial people on the platform. To truly highlight just how isolated she had become at this point, here's one example. In March 2018, Good Mythical Morning posted a teaser for an episode with Sniperwolf. Quickly, this got the attention of the wider community, and the sheer backlash was so out of control that they canceled all plans with her, removing the short promo video. Today, only re-uploads of it are available, as well as Reddit posts talking about what had happened to the planned collab, and there have been no attempts to make a collab with her ever since. The rest of the year would not treat her much better. On May 18th, Nerd City released a video titled Thought Patrol featuring Max Mofo and Rusty Cage. In it, Nerd City goes to great lengths to criticize her conduct, highlighting her past in the Overwatch community, among others. He also goes to great lengths to criticize her treatment of other women, specifically the way she talked down to women who had cosmetic surgery done or were using a lot of makeup and filters, highlighting a whole slew of tweets where she'd done so. These statements were very hypocritical, as it became obvious that she herself has gotten facial surgery and also heavily edited her photos to appear different. This wasn't exactly groundbreaking shocking, but it did stoke the fires even further. Fundamentally, no matter how bad her reputation got, her popularity with her target demographic was not really affected. In 2019, she won the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award for the Favorite Gamer category, despite not having released a single gaming video in about a year. She would also go on to win the 2020 Kids' Choice Award, which makes sense considering the fact that her audience had transitioned completely from sweaty neckbeards to children. Ever since her feud with FaZe Clan, SniperWolf had been slowly taking a step back from social media, likely in an attempt to avoid stirring even more controversy. But she had a hard time making that last forever. On the 22nd of December 2021, Adam22 on the No Jumper podcast interviewed a girl by the name of Kiara L. Cutler. She was a 10-year-old cancer patient suffering from osteosarcoma, or bone cancer. In the video, which was meant to showcase her struggle and get to know her, Adam22 asked Kiara to make a wish. Being a fan of SniperWolf, her wish was to personally meet her. Initially, it seems SniperWolf would welcome the idea, showing support to the young girl battling cancer and offering to meet her, or to at least talk over video. Kiara's mother contacted SniperWolf over DMs in an attempt to set it all up. However, SniperWolf quickly began to drag her feet until she eventually stopped responding, claiming to be unable to talk while she had family over. In frustration, the mother blocked SniperWolf and took it to the public. Keemstar was the first guy to really talk about it, posting a short rant on his Twitter, wherein he blasted SniperWolf's conduct in the kind and colorful language we've come to expect from Keemstar.
There's this girl, she's 10 years old, she's dying of cancer. Her dream and her wish is to meet SSSniperwolf. And I told Adam22 right out, SniperWolf is a piece of shit. Good luck with that. Adam, trying to make this 10-year-old's dreams come true, gets a hold of sexy SniperWolf, and she agrees to talk to the kid dying of cancer. SniperWolf blows it off. Completely blows it off. She's posted on Instagram that she's out to dinner, all right? She's out partying and living it up, and this 10-year-old is literally dying right now.
What followed was a massive public outcry with tons of videos coming out on YouTube to criticize her. Everyone from Drama Alert to Optimist to Just Destiny talked about it all. And SniperWolf didn't take the abuse lying down. On the 28th, she made multiple statements about the situation. She complained about the mother's behavior, claiming she was trying to arrange a video call before the mother blocked her. Then on the same day, she would post a tweet saying she had in fact contacted the mother again, managing to send the girl a video. Whether that's true or not has not been confirmed, but SniperWolf claimed that she got it all sorted out. Given her newfound tendency to simply ignore drama until it went away, this one didn't end up causing that much harm to her either. While more videos would continue to be released about her, she simply never addressed it again. And after a while, the only people who seemed to even remember it were those who hated her regardless. Sadly, Kiara L. Cutler died on the 8th of January 2022, succumbing to her osteosarcoma. Although Leah was effectively quarantined from the rest of the YouTube community, that didn't halt her success even slightly. Her reaction videos continued to amass millions of views, and with her consistent upload schedule, she became a mainstay on both the YouTube homepage and the trending page, all of which she had done off the back of other people's content. Despite her controversies, she had fostered a loyal fan base of mostly children, who either never knew there was drama or simply dismissed it if they heard of it. Her content would not go without criticism, however. You see, reaction content is special in that people seem to hate it in waves, only for that hatred to crater once the topic becomes too boring, and then it sparks up again when something considered outrageous by the wider community happens. For a few years, SniperWolf had been enjoying an ebb in people's hatred for the content, meaning it went entirely under the radar. This would eventually change, and while it could be argued when exactly the interest in reaction content rose again, it seemed to start with JXE doing a measured takedown of Hassan Piker's reaction to one of her videos. This spawned a cascade of hatred for React streamers like Hassan, with other YouTubers like Dark Viper AU making an entire series of videos criticizing the concept. Now, most of this negative attention was focused away from YouTube. It was on Twitch streamers, which meant that SniperWolf got off pretty unnoticed. That was until October 27th, 2022, when Jax Films released a video simply titled SniperWolf. In it, he announces the creation of a new channel, JJ Jax Films, with the entire purpose being to parody SniperWolf's content by reacting to it the same way that she reacts. The videos are satirical in nature, with Jack talking over them constantly, pausing for long stretches of time to commentate, but still keeping the videos fair use, something that he argues her videos were not doing. Instead, SniperWolf would just basically sit, watch a TikTok, repeat what happened in that TikTok, and then move on to the next thing. She wasn't really adding anything to the content, and she wasn't getting permission from the rights holders of those TikToks to react. Later on, Jack changes up the content formula, but for a while it stayed about the same, garnering some attention but not really doing SniperWolf any real harm. Eventually, the interest in the channel tapered off, seen with a drop-off in views after the first couple of posts. But Jack clearly hated her content. By extension, he hated her. He wasn't happy going unnoticed. On June 22nd, 2023, the YouTube creator's Twitter account made a post about SniperWolf saying, saying, "Where does Sniper Wolf get video ideas? From fans." Here's what she had to say at the VidCon 2023 YouTube keynote. "It's really important to me to engage with my audience. I get a lot of content ideas from them in the comments. It's important to grow and adapt as a creator." Quickly, Jax Films responded to this with a snarky comment, which led to a back and forth between Jack and Leah, which notably concluded with this statement from Jack. "To be fair, it was very funny, and yes, it's extremely easy. You added nothing of value, I added nothing of value, and clones. I'll bring it back, don't worry." The statement was a prelude to another Jax Films video released 6 days later, titled "Sniper Wolf, but every 10 seconds I read a tweet she sent me tonight." True to its title, Jax spends the entire video reacting to a video of hers while pausing every 10 seconds to go through her tweets. The video ended up getting millions of views, and it preceded another one a month later, titled "Let's Talk About Sniper Wolf," in which he does a more in-depth critique of her content, from it being extremely low effort to the fact she never did her due diligence in crediting creators. At the same time, he makes the argument that Sniper Wolf's content does not meet the fair use standard, meaning her content infringes on other people's copyright. Perhaps most notably, he announces that the JJ Jax Films channel would resume production, changing its focus to critiquing and grading Sniper Wolf's videos and the reactions contained therein. Jack held true to his word, and the parody channel was producing new videos. These new ones garnered far more attention than the ones he'd previously made, probably because he put more focus on entertaining and engaging viewers, unlike his earlier attempts, which were simply too dense with satire to get into for most people. And on top of that, Leah had acknowledged that she didn't like the channel, which gave him an excuse to basically shit talk her forever. These videos, which were actually edited down versions of his streams, were much more palatable, and he began uploading them almost daily. With Jax Films videos being such a success, Sniper Wolf found herself in a strange position, one she hadn't really been in before. For the first time in her career, the mounting backlash against her content had an effect. During a stream shown in the video, "Victory, we got Sniper Wolf to remove a TikTok, it begins," a content creator called Mikey Skates notified Jack he was able to get his clip removed from one of Sniper Wolf's reaction videos. Even more remarkably, in another video, Jack showed how Sniper Wolf had removed an entire video due to claims he had made against it. What Jack had achieved with these videos was rallying small content creators to protect their own copyrighted material by submitting takedown requests, claims, etc. While there were likely many more claims that simply never got through the vetting process, the ones that did were enough to make an impact on Sniper Wolf's bottom line. For a while, Leah stayed quiet on this topic, with only the odd vague comment in some of her videos. That was until October 13th, 2023, when Sniper Wolf posted a poll on her Instagram asking her fans if she should pay a visit, showing a photo of Jack's house. At the time, he was actually on live stream, and you can see him react in real time to what she did.
Hold on, what's going on? Hold on, stop. What's going on?
Hold on.
Go look at the general.
Oh,
in the
shit.
Discord.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Is she like trying to dox you right now?
I don't know, but that's
that
really
like
scary.
yeah, that's
No, there's a video.
She's outside your house right now.
What the fuck?
Holy shit.
She literally
on her
posted a
Instagram.
video on her story 5 minutes ago.
I'm
of her.
reporting.
Oh my god, she
Yeah.
is. She's outside
Yeah.
our house. Hold on. I'm gonna go
And-
outside.
Aaron, no,
don't.
Aaron,
Oh,
don't,
Aaron,
don't,
Aaron,
don't,
Aaron,
don't,
Aaron,
do not.
don't, please don't. All right, hold on.
Please
Should we?
don't.
I'm gonna end this.
Jack quickly took to Twitter, calling her out for publicly doxing him, as well as encouraging YouTube to ban her. He would go on to make a community post and a video about the topic, calling on YouTube to take action against her. Sniper Wolf, meanwhile, did not quite seem to get the gravity of the situation, as she continued to talk about it as if she'd done nothing wrong in her subsequent posts, and seemingly didn't even know what doxing was. But the backlash was monumental. Dozens of videos by creators like Charlie and Mudahar, who had never been involved with her drama prior, made videos about it and brought it to the mainstream, with even major publications from NBC News jumping on the bandwagon. As a result of her backlash, Sniper Wolf lost her partnership with G Fuel, removing her branded items from the store. She also lost her partnership with Darman, a creator she had been collaborating with a lot. The trouble didn't even end there. As people continued to rally against her, more and more focus was drawn to her past as people began scouring her content for anything that would show Sniper Wolf in a bad light. And soon enough, people discovered a video called "Mom Caught Kids Twerking," in which Sniper Wolf video chats with fans on Omegle, many of which are too young to be using that service, and she encourages them to engage in lewd acts for content. I'm not going to show any of the people on the other end of Leah's call here to protect their identities, but it's pretty gross. I'd shy away from calling her a loser creep P-word because I doubt she's actually attracted to anything here, but regardless of that, what she did is pretty foul, and there's just no doubt about it. Commentary channels began covering this situation, leading to a cascade of criticism towards Leah. News articles by large foreign news publications discussed the topic in detail, but it went further as more and more videos began popping up of her engaging in this questionable behavior. The Real Sully G showed a screenshot of another Omegle video in which which SSSniperwolf supposedly solicited a 16-year-old girl to flash her. That being said, many question this claim's veracity, as they speculate the user is not actually that age, and the video feed they use is a simulated webcam and not the actual feed. And to be honest, in this particular case, that's probably true. But at this point, there was no stopping the backlash. The same has been the case on YouTube, where uploads of her Omegle videos keep popping up every time she takes them down, meaning any attempt at minimizing the damage these videos had done ends up being relatively moot. She ended up deleting over 130 million views worth of videos within just 4 days, but the question remained how YouTube would respond. YouTube themselves finally issued an official statement saying they temporarily suspended monetization on SSSniperwolf's channel, affirming SSSniperwolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk harm our community, and the behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this combo to a better place. As you can imagine from reading that, this only sparked further outrage, as many interpreted the response as partial victim blaming on account of Jack. The idea that YouTube was discouraging his behavior and not highlighting SSSniperwolf as the party 100% in the wrong angered viewers. Now it's worth noting that even if Jack making 100 videos on SSSniperwolf is not even comparable to posting his house, YouTube has shown a distaste for drama in the past. When Keemstar and Ethan Klein had a huge beef, YouTube personally reached out to them to tell them to stop. When Leafy is Here made too many videos about Pokimane, they outright banned him and called it harassment. I have my own personal opinion on what Jack's videos constitute, and my personal opinion is that it's not harassment, it's just, criticism videos, but it's clear to me that YouTube does not like when someone dedicates an entire channel to coming after someone every single day. I would speculate that YouTube doesn't like when the mainstream media picks up these bigger drama stories because it makes it look as though YouTube is just a site of creators constantly fighting. Regardless, viewers thought the punishment against SSSniperwolf was far too light, who accused YouTube of taking her side in this conflict. SSSniperwolf herself posted an apology in which she seemingly took blame for her actions, but as you can see from the comments on that post, the response was largely negative, with most believing she only made this statement because she had to, not because she felt bad. Notably, she never addressed the Omegle controversy directly, presumably because she wants to bring as little attention to it as possible. As of writing this, she also announced that she would be taking a break from producing new videos, although she didn't specify how long this break would actually be. Practically every new video she released after this incident was flooded with dislikes, averaging at around a 6-to-1 dislike to like ratio. Her most recent videos have suffered in terms of views as well. One thing is for certain, this is by far the worst drama she's ever been involved with, and there's little chance of her moving past this unscathed in the long run. What many viewers don't know, or are only vaguely aware of, is the legal battle that's been happening behind the scenes for months, which is probably causing a lot more stress to her than this drama ever could. And here, finally, we can let the cat out of the bag. I've spent the entire video teasing a resolution to the whole sniper sausage situation and an answer to all questions being raised. From December of 2022 until now, Evan, or Sausage, and Leah, or SSSniperwolf, have been engaged in a legal dispute over the ownership and operation of the SSSniperwolf channels. This lawsuit's still ongoing, so keep in mind that every claim made by either party will have a large asterisk with big bold allegedly next to it. So take everything with a pinch of salt, but the content of these proceedings, which are now public record for anyone to see, have massive implications for Leah's channel and potentially reinterpret her entire history online. But before we get into that, let's actually start by confirming what most of you already knew. SSSniperwolf and Sausage had in fact been married, and on October 20th, 2022, Sausage officially filed for divorce. Now the big stuff. On the 22nd of December 2022, Evan Young filed a lawsuit against SSSniperwolf for breach of contract with the Maricopa County Court in Arizona. In it, he detailed the kind of business relationship he had with her, and he accused Leah of breaching the contract they had via shared ownership of Channel Red, which is a business which owns the SSSniperwolf channel, wherein he claims she was sidestepping him for various business deals, such as a sponsorship with G Fuel. This has led to an ongoing legal battle and a countersuit by Leah, in which both Evan and Leah present two highly diverging versions of the story of the channel's inception. So, let's try to go over the story these two individuals present, highlight where the two versions meet, where they differ, and what the implication of each version would be for the entire history of the channel. All of the information presented directly in this section is directly from the case's legal documents, which are readily available online. We'll start with Sausage's story on what went down. In 2010, Leah and Evan allegedly met while playing Metal Gear Online. They texted back and forth for a while for the year's duration, but communication between them would eventually break down as they grew more distant for no particular reason. In the interim, in 2011, Leah made her Sexy Sniper channel, which quickly gained a reputation for being sleazy and not safe for work. They'd reconnected in December 2012, exchanging regular correspondence at that time. Evan says that in January 2013, he pitched an offer to her for the creation of the SSSniperwolf channel, the one we all know. The deal he offered was that he would record gameplays, write scripts, and Leah would simply read the scripts out on camera to make it appear as though she was the one playing the game. He also claims that he was to make sure this channel was completely distant from the Sexy Sniper channel. Leah apparently agreed, and the channel was created on January 19th by Evan, who utilized a mixture of both of their personal info, including Leah's first name and birth date, and Evan's last name and contact information. Evan says they would agree on a 50-50 revenue split at this time. He also claims that he was the dictator of the channel deal with Fullscreen for the ad revenue from the channel, and that they agreed to split this revenue equally, and the first payment from Fullscreen in March 2013 was deposited into Evan Young's PayPal account. Evan then moved to Arizona to be closer to Leah in May 2013, and according to him, they got married in the same month. Of course, this is a far cry from Sniperwolf's perspective. Her version of the story up until this point in time is less rich with detail, but according to her, she had made the Sniperwolf channel all on her own. She also closed the deal with Fullscreen herself and collected 100% of the ad revenue from it. She never actually met Evan in any capacity until May 2013, at which point they became romantically involved. Already, you can see how heavily the two stories diverge, and rest assured, the differences don't end there. Evan claims he was an integral part in the actual running of the Sniperwolf channel. In the heyday of the gaming era from 2013 to 2016, he says he was responsible for producing all of the gameplay footage, as well as producing scripts, which Leah would simply read out. Once the gaming era slowly tapered off, Evan remained a deeply important part of the channel, focusing on video directing, script writing, and market research, all while Leah was primarily the face of it. All throughout, they supposedly maintained their 50-50 revenue split. On March 29th, 2014, the couple created a channel called Mr. Sausage Boy, intended to act as Evan's personal channel, distinct and separate from the Sniperwolf channel. However, just like the Sniperwolf channel, the revenue from it was split between them. A couple months later, on June 4th, 2014, the couple supposedly created another channel called Little Leah, and you can find that channel right now on YouTube. This one had been made for a more female-centric audience with content related to makeup, designer goods, shopping, and fashion. And just like with all of the other channels, the revenue was split down the middle. Just a couple days later, on June 10th, Leah apparently entered a revised agreement with Fullscreen on behalf of the Sniperwolf channel. Once again, Leah and Evan agreed on a 50-50 split. Then, skipping about 2 years to October 10th, 2016, Leah entered an agreement with Google directly for an AdSense account, the revenue from which will be split down the middle. For those wondering why this happened, basically there was a time on YouTube where you couldn't monetize a gaming channel without a partnership from a network like Machinima or Fullscreen. So how does this all go according to Leah? Once again, not as much detail. She claims that Evan only provided supplementary aid, although she didn't actually specify what kind of aid that was. She also claims the Sniperwolf channel was always in her full possession and that Mr. Sausage Boy was a channel fully owned and operated by Evan, while Little Leah was again fully owned by Leah, and the profits from each would be deposited into the respective owners' banks. She also takes a major jab at Evan, saying that while Mr. Sausage Boy found some moderate success, she effectively became a YouTube celebrity, which is true, like nobody really cared about Sausage. Further, she restates that the Fullscreen and AdSense revenue deals were handled by her privately and resulted in her getting 100% of the profit, and she never shared that with Sausage. Lastly, according to her, Evan and Leah apparently got married at some point in 2016. As different as these stories are, there's one point in which they joined back together. On February 8th, 2017, the now undeniably married couple founded a joint company called Channel Red in the state of Arizona. Upon creating it, they both became members and managers of the company, bringing every single one of their YouTube channels under the ownership of this LLC. As part of their operating deal, both individuals had full access to all accounts and were jointly responsible for decisions regarding the channels. This arrangement would last from 2017 to September 2022, up to the date of Evan's divorce filing, during which the Sniperwolf channel in particular would enjoy unprecedented YouTube success. However, Evan also argues there was an oral agreement that the revenue would continue to be split down the middle. So why is this lawsuit happening in the first place? Evan actually sued her first, and the gist is that he's trying to get as much money as possible out of the opposing party. This is all tied into their divorce, as their marriage is ending, and who gets the most money will come down to who can show they had more involvement in the channel than the other. Going strictly off of what they've requested from the court, she asks for everything to get dissolved and they just split the money basically. But he doesn't ask for that and instead asks the court to put someone in charge of Channel Red so that things can just go back to running smoothly, with him also being involved in the business decisions. Now, there are more ways in which the two parties differ in the stories they're giving to the court. What I will say is that in my personal, dumbass YouTuber opinion, which holds no weight and also only exists in Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite, I think that Sniperwolf is not a real gamer. And if I had to guess, Evan probably did write a lot of those scripts and play the games for her, hence why people like SylvieBot drew the conclusion that she wasn't really in the top 500 in Overwatch. Now, let's focus on what truly matters. As we've shown, the two stories behind the creation of the running of the Sniperwolf channel differ a lot. One may question why they even have such massively distinct stories. In answering that, we have to examine what either would stand to gain. First, let's once again acknowledge that these stories provided, even if proven, would not be the be-all end-all for the actual lawsuit, which mainly concerns actions taken by Evan and Leah after Evan initiated the divorce proceedings. If you want to accuse Evan of lying, and you want to speculate on his motivation, it's obvious. He wants to hurt SSSniperwolf, and by confirming age-old suspicions about her channel, he's effectively proving to everyone that her entire channel is built on lies. However, given that the point of the lawsuit is that he would continue to have joint ownership of the business, especially in regards to sponsorship deals, one may question why he would spread such damaging lies in the first place. Meanwhile, Leah's motivation to lie is also even more obvious. Leah's reputation has been in absolute tatters, and reviving her old drama by unilaterally confirming the people making videos about her were correct would only add fuel to the fire. She's trying to provide a more acceptable alternate story for the history of the channel, while conceding that she had been married, advances the marriage to the same year when most of the drama surrounding her marriage had been happening, giving herself an out to claim she had not been married during it, and thus wasn't lying when she said they weren't married. Now that we have a better idea of why either of them may lie, let's examine the actual implications of their stories. Firstly, the marriage. Regardless of which side in the lawsuit is correct, Leah and Evan were definitely married in 2016, which means the purported breakups shown on her YouTube channel may have been real. This also retroactively vindicates Herotic and his discovery of the jointly signed house ownership agreement, perhaps proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the DMCA takedown, which SSSniperwolf had admitted herself was only partially due to copyrighted content being used in the video, was in fact a malicious attempt at censoring the truth and hiding their relationship. Even though they'd been making public videos about their relationship, releasing documents proving one way or the other is probably over the line. Now, let's narrow our focus on Evan's side of the story. If we assume everything he said was the truth, from his provided date of the marriage to the very foundations of the SSSniperwolf channel, this changes our perspective on pretty much every drama since then that she's been involved with up until the divorce has been initiated. Take the Girl Gone Gamer situation. If Evan had been so deeply involved with the SSSniperwolf channel as he'd purported, that means Leah was faking gameplays in the same way she had accused a Girl Gone Gamer of doing. But let's not forget, it also means Evan had as much of a hand in creating the Girl Gone Gamer video as SSSniperwolf herself. If he is to be believed, he would have been the one writing the script in the first place, turning SSSniperwolf's video from a relatively scatterbrained rant to a very deliberate takedown of a fellow content creator orchestrated by two people. And keep in mind, the entire time the gameplay was not being done by Leah, which makes her a massive hypocrite. Secondly, let's examine the Enigma Hood drama. To align with Evan's story, Enigma Hood's video would have been taken down with Evan's consent, meaning he was potentially complicit in the DMCA abuse against Enigma Hood. Given Evan's claim that they were deliberately trying to distance themselves from the Sexy Sniper channel, the most obvious reason for the takedown was to make sure the Sexy Sniper channel was hidden from public spotlight. It would also mean Evan bore some responsibility for the entire situation as it developed between 2013 and 2016. As we've already discussed, Herotic has been vindicated regardless of when exactly Evan and Leah got married. But if they were married since 2013, the entire drama comes off as even more ridiculous and fake. The legal threats against Scarce and the copyright takedown of the Herotic video were also decisions made jointly by Evan and Leah. In the SSSniperwolf versus FaZe Clan drama, while the clip that arguably started it all is on Leah, the legal threats made against FaZe Censor were a joint decision, as opposed to Evan acting merely as a messenger. It also further raises questions regarding the text messages from 2015 regarding the supposed abusive relationship Leah claimed to have been in, given it's no longer just drama between boyfriend and girlfriend, but a domestic dispute. Everything is put into a different context if we believe Evan's story. It also removes at least half of Leah's agency in turning the SSSniperwolf channel into the success story it ended up becoming. Conversely, it also paints Evan in a rather bad light. He now shares responsibility for some of the most blatant misuses of the YouTube copyright system in order to both silence criticism and to hide the truth that he's now so readily revealing in order to help his lawsuit. It also makes him at least partially culpable for the creepy Omegle videos, all of which may have been made with his consent or direction. As for SSSniperwolf's story, it changes relatively little about the channel, other than proving Herotic right and proving her to be a liar. Since the lawsuit hasn't come to a conclusion, it may be a while before we learn which side of the story is actually correct. And of course, even if one side wins, it technically doesn't disprove the opposite stories, as the relevance of these stories to the actual case is not the be-all end-all. That said, there is plenty of room to make assumptions. While Leah's story omits any mention of the attempts at exposing the SSSniperwolf channel, Evan's story happens to confirm many of the suspicions people have had over the years. There were reasons for people to think she wasn't the one doing the gameplay. If we examine some of the stuff provided by people like Truth Revealed, then indeed, Evan's story seems more plausible than Leah's. That said, I'm not a legal expert, and before any of you come away from this video with the impression that SSSniperwolf's a confirmed fake fraudster, just be aware this case is still developing and that until it concludes, it's too early to reach for conclusions. Leah's channel may be one of the greatest success stories in YouTube history. Whether she achieved it on her own or with the help of her ex-husband, it's undeniable that SSSniperwolf had become a titan of YouTube with the two of them at the helm. Despite every drama she's been involved in, and despite the utterly dreadful reputation she earned returned, not to mention the complete isolation from the wider YouTube community, she simply continued to grow until she became one of the largest creators on the whole website, regularly getting more views per day than even Mr. Beast, the largest creator on the whole platform. However, in the midst of her latest drama, she's practically burnt every bridge with every content creator out there, and with the exception of YouTube itself and her most rabid fans, no one meaningful is going to come to the support of her. And now, with this lawsuit, she's got much bigger problems to worry about. But one thing is for certain, whether the Jax Films controversy will be remembered as a series of dominoes that led to one of the greatest falls from grace in YouTube history, or another case of Leah skillfully evading the consequences of her actions, remains to be seen. Regardless, it's very unlikely her break from YouTube will be the last we've seen of her. So, let's wait and see if there truly is such a thing as too big to fail. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone. Bye, Sniper Wolf.